Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering woke Hollywood panics as diversity of TV stars plummets in 2024. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. The report is out, and apparently the people are not watching shows that they're supposed to watch. You're only supposed to watch shows where you see the person that looks like you is in the show. If the lead actor in the show doesn't look exactly like you, same skin color, same gender, same sexual preference, of course, it's impossible that you'd ever want to watch those shows. So that's why we have all these representation-based TV shows. Forbes is concerned about this because something isn't working. Coming from Forbes, this is a surprise why diversity of TV leads has plummeted this year. And from NextTV.com, fewer non-white actors getting lead roles in top shows, according to Samba TV. Samba TV is the group that's pushing all of this with all of their reports, trying to claim that, yes, representation equals viewership. All you need is representation. If you have representation, those people will watch those shows, and then they'll support whatever advertising is promoted on those shows. Of course, that's not true, but that's what they keep saying. Going back to 2021, from Samba TV, diversity in TV has a long way to go. A look at how representation drives viewership. Now, of course, they destroy their whole philosophy here because this was probably written by someone who wasn't qualified to write the article. I mean, no personal offense, it's just absurd. Take a look at this. It's no secret that turning on your TV and flipping through channels won't paint a realistic picture of who lives in America. Okay, so who cares about that? You're not going to go watch some channels on TV to try to figure out what America looks like. You're going to watch TV just to relax and not have to think. It's a break from life. It's not supposed to be a mirror into my national community, according to Samba TV and the rest of the people pushing their agenda. The ordinary lives depicted in classics like Friends, Seinfeld, and The Office are only ordinary for a specific subset of Americans, namely white Americans. Well, there were not all just white people on those shows, but yes, they had a lot of white leads on them. There's also something else, since we're talking about viewership here, and we're talking about people responding to shows and focusing and engaging with content. Are you kidding me? Friends, Seinfeld, The Office? It's not just that they're good classic shows. Those are shows that all kinds of people watch. Those are shows that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars to streaming services. These are old shows. These weren't shows that were just made like within the last couple of years or so. These are ancient shows, essentially, that ran years ago that had a huge following and now continue to have a huge following. People sit and binge watch those shows for hours and hours and hours because the shows were well made. They were well received. That's what people want to see. Well-made shows, not shows that look like Queen Latifah because maybe I look like Queen Latifah. That's not enough to make me watch the show. And from Campaign US, Samba TV study shows decline in diverse casting despite its efficacy. Well, efficacy meaning that it works. Well, no, it doesn't work. You actually have to make good shows. Entertainment and engagement is not equal to representation, no matter how many times Samba TV tries to tell us that. And from NextTV.com, fewer non-white actors getting lead roles in top shows, Samba TV reports. Lack of diversity hurts viewership and advertising engagement. And the crazy thing about all of this is, it's not that diverse people or diverse actors aren't getting their representation lead roles. They're getting the lead roles. It's that people aren't watching the shows. So at what point are you going to say, maybe this isn't going to work? Maybe we take people of all kinds of skin colors, all kinds of genders and sexual preferences, but we insist that we have good shows. That would be my solution, because this article talking about fewer non-white actors are getting lead roles that people are actually watching in top shows. Maybe the problem is it's not the ethnicity of the person in the role, it's the show. The percentage of non-white actors playing leading roles in the most watched shows on television has fallen by 7% this year, according to an analysis by Samba TV. Samba, a real-time insights and audience analytics firm, said this is bad news for TV networks and streaming services because the non-white population is growing and viewers are more likely to watch shows in which they are represented. But of course, that's not really true. People will watch good shows. Bad shows, they don't care what the cast is. And when you get a bad show, that show's really unwatchable. You're not going to get it redeemed by having that person look like the person who's watching it. Similarly, for advertisers, consumers are more likely to be engaged and persuaded by characters they identify with. Quote, unfortunately, as the United States grows more and more diverse, TV has not followed suit, Samba TV says in its State of Diversity on TV report. No, to correct that, TV has gotten absurdly diverse, like beyond any comprehension. What's happening is the shows aren't good, so people aren't watching them, so it's not working. Quote, as we strive to create data at the heart of TV and power a better viewing experience for everyone, we hope that our new analysis will show what's working and where our industry can do better, because everyone benefits from a viewing experience that is representative and empowering, Samba said. The whole premise of this business, Samba TV, is to push the diversity, equity, and inclusion concept. But of course, that concept doesn't really work because it has nothing to do with merit, whether it's in entertainment or it's in business. Even Harvard is noticing, from Harvard Business Review. Research, the most common DEI practices actually undermine diversity. Well, you're supposed to be helping your diversity agenda. What do you mean your DEI practices are actually ruining your plans? Well, we'll get to that article a little bit later. Within the top 50 TV shows, 39% of top billed actors were Hispanic, Black, Asian, or another ethnicity such as mixed or native, while 61% were white, up 5%, Samba TV found. Maybe because the demands on, I don't know, but I don't have all the data like Samba TV does. But maybe the issue is, if you're going to be a lead white cast member, it's not enough just to look white. It's not a representation thing. It's got to be part of a good show. You've got to prove yourself or you're not going to get that opportunity. It's one of those anti-DEI type of things. It's one of those merit type of things. Why are we going to have you be a white cast lead unless your show is actually good? I don't have the data to support it, but maybe Samba TV is actually making the case for me. The proportion of Americans who identify as ethnicities other than white has already hit 41% and continues to increase. And before 2060, more than half the country will be part of one of these minority groups, according to Samba TV, pointing to census data. So get all of your programming decisions done for 2060. I mean, it's 2024 right now, so you may as well be ahead of the game. Just make your plans 36 years out for what your content should be and make sure it's only based on representation, not good quality work, not shows people actually want to see. Maybe you guys should be looking at Friends, The Office, South Park, Seinfeld, classic TV shows that people will watch and watch and watch again for years and years and years. For decades, they will watch these shows. Try to replicate that. Not based on the skin color of the characters, but based on the interactions and the humanity of the characters. Hispanic actors were particularly underrepresented, with 40% fewer in top roles in the first half of 2024 compared to a year ago. Hispanic actors had just 6% of the most prominent parts, compared to Hispanic people being 19% of the US. How could that possibly be? Well, because making a show is actually a difficult thing to do. Writing a story, a good story, is difficult to do. Creating something that people want to see and see again. Not just your mom putting your pictures on your refrigerator, but creating a hit concept is difficult to come up with. Creating a hit concept that you can actually execute on again and again and again is very difficult. We did it in comics. Doing it in comics is difficult, and that's a lot less people than putting together a show. It's very difficult to accidentally create a hit and then create it again and again and again. It takes a lot of focus and a lot of work to come up with something that's creatively inspired. That's what these people should be doing, not worrying about what the actors look like. Black actors got 15% of top roles in the top shows, up from 7% a year ago. Asians got 7% of the top roles, unchanged. In streaming shows, Black actors had 12% of the big roles, compared to 24% on shows on linear networks. Linear networks are cable channels or broadcast TV shows. Hispanic actors had 11% of lead roles on streaming, compared to 3% on linear shows. Asian actors were cast in 13% of the top roles on cable and 7% of the leads on linear. Across the streaming services and linear networks with top shows from 2024, Netflix and ABC were the only two where over half of leads within the top 3 shows were non-white. Well, whose fault is that? It's just people are either interested in the shows or they're not interested in them. If diversity was enough, if representation was enough, then yeah, those would be the hot shows. They're not. And that's what the data shows. And they don't like it. They don't like you watching the shows you're not supposed to be watching. Watch the shows with the people that look like you, why don't you? Hulu, Max, and Amazon Prime Video all tied for second place among the streamers, with slightly less than half of leads coming from diverse backgrounds, while Apple TV Plus and NBC each had just 22% levels of diversity. Diverse shows tend to score with minority audiences. Samba found a positive correlation of 39% among households with Black, Hispanic, Asian, mixed race, or another non-white ethnicity watching programs with higher percentages of non-white stars, indicating that cast diversity is a selling point among diverse households. But with the streaming wars waging, content creators looking to boost viewership should increase cast diversity to gain attention from diverse populations, the report said. I just watched for the first time the Cloak and Dagger series from Marvel. It was on Freeform. It was one of their lower budget series. The first season was well done. They knew what they were doing. The second season, it was clear they got a little bit more diverse with some of their choices in terms of their creative contributions, let's say, the writers. It was an absolute disaster. It was completely unwatchable. It's one thing to have a bad episode, but when you have a string of like 4 or 5 bad episodes in a row, and then one pretty good episode, and then another couple of terrible episodes, you can't retain people. People want to just relax and enjoy a show. If the show's not going to be well done, it's not going to be watchable. So good job on the first season of Cloak and Dagger. I can understand why the second season caused the show to be canceled, because ratings dropped off so terribly. And the reason it dropped off terribly was the shows were unwatchable. The strongest correlation was among Hispanic households, with 50% of Hispanic households watching shows featuring a higher percentage of Hispanic leads. While each of the top 5 advertisers served a disproportionate amount of ads to white households, other advertisers in different product categories are doing a good job at reaching different diverse groups. Automotive advertisers like Acura, Kia, and Volkswagen are serving more than 20% of their ads to Hispanic households. TurboTax also distinguished itself by serving ads proportionally to Hispanic households at 19%. At the same time, each of the top advertisers underserved Black and Asian households. Representation drives engagement from diverse audiences. Hispanic, Black, and Asian households are all more likely to watch TV where they see themselves represented, according to Samba TV, which is ridiculous. It's got to be a good show. If it's a good show, people of all races, creeds, kinds, and sexual preferences will watch a good show, and they'll talk about it with their friends. They're friends of every race, creed, gender, and type. It will be talked about. It will get buzz to it. It will be successful. Quote, advertisers looking to engage these audiences should work diversity into their creatives, the report said. To reach different ethnic groups, advertisers must look to advanced targeting tactics across CTV and digital that will allow for precision. To reach Hispanic audiences in particular, advertisers should consider moving beyond putting ads on Spanish language networks, which they don't count in any of these numbers. Quote, they should target viewers of top programs among Hispanic audiences such as Griselda, Samba TV said. Diversity could also be a powerful weapon in the streaming wars. With representation driving viewership, streaming platforms should focus on diversity as a differentiator, the report said. They've all done that, and it does not work. Quote, as we strive to create data at the heart of TV and power a better viewing experience for everyone. Although their agenda is clearly to just push representation-based programming, not good shows and not good content, they say they hope their new analysis will show what's working and where their industry can do better, because everyone benefits from a viewing experience that is representative and empowering. According to Samba TV, now everyone benefits from something that's truly good entertainment. We all can do well enjoying stories that are relaxing and inspiring, regardless of what the characters look like, regardless of what we look like. That doesn't matter. Good is all that matters. Well-crafted is all that matters. And that's what everyone in the entertainment industry should be focusing on, promoting good work at every level of production. And they have the same problems in industry. What they're trying to push just isn't working. From Harvard Business Review research, the most common DEI practices actually undermine diversity. In summary, while companies say they champion diversity, there are glaring disparities in diverse representation within managerial ranks. The authors examine the impact of various management practices on diverse representation in managerial roles and how often each management practice is utilized in organizations, shedding light on why organizations are not making greater progress towards diverse representation. Despite not working well for attaining diverse representation, diversity training is widely used in organizations. In contrast, formal mentoring programs and targeted recruitment are effective for increasing diverse representation but are underused. Indeed, the relationship between how often management practices are implemented in organizations and their effectiveness in attaining diverse representation is negative and strong. The article breaks down the practices organizations should utilize to achieve diverse representation, underscoring the need to shift towards practices that increase diverse representation in management. What they emphasize in this article, I have gone through it, is like on-the-job coaching and mentoring, so that basically you've got someone with experience helping someone to do their job. As if it's one thing to bring somebody in new to a job and then to get them acclimated and, be able to answer their questions when they have questions. That's fine when you're starting a new job. But on-the-job mentoring and helping people do their work is not an effective way to hire, manage, and train people. You can't do that. You can train people, but they've got to actually be able to do the work. You can't, quote, mentor them through their jobs as if you had a teaching assistant sitting on a one-on-one basis helping someone to do their work. The numbers don't lie, and no matter what they do to push more and more diverse shows, people just aren't really watching them. So you can't just keep making them and then complaining that no one's watching them and that they should watch them and they should want to watch them and they can prove this correlation of that percentage of that skin color and this ethnicity is really interested in watching shows that they're clearly not interested in watching. Just go back and make good shows. It's hard to do, but it's as easy as that. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.